it going, folks? Hope we're all doing absolutely fantastic. Welcome to a custom tactic video where we are going to be giving you something that is a little bit different to what we've been using recently on the channel. Something that is going to give you the ability to play some very nice football, essentially looking for some quick tiki-taka passes, first-time passes on the ground, pretty much everything. You can play a lot of different ways with this play style. It is going to be quite an aggressive setup, so we'll touch on that in just a second. If you enjoyed the video and the tactics, anything like that, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel and drop any comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. So, what is the formation that we are talking today? Can we get a little drum roll? I won't do that. We're talking about the 4-3-3 false 9. It was something that we ran a lot on FIFA 20, where I had Mario Balotelli in that centre forward role, and we've kind of gone for a similar sort of setup with what we do with our player instructions and kind of how we want to play. I am going to say that right now on FC24, hug sideline is a bit of a problem, is in where you put hug sideline on your instructions. If you didn't know, you're up and then right on the D-pad, and essentially you can just switch the ball from your right hand side to the left hand side really easy. And we are going to be using that in this setup as well. I've tried to recently look at a way to try and deal with it defensively in your settings, in your tactics, and you kind of can't, but there is a thought process behind it. As always, old gen users, I say for depth wise, just run 40. I think 40 depth on old gen is fine, but for new gen users, I told you it was going to be aggressive, all right? If you look at this and go, no, there's no way I can do this, Alex, I'm not doing it, then don't. Just kind of go with what you're comfortable with. But we go 60 defensive width, I know, crazy, and then 80 defensive depth. Now, first of all, let's talk about defensive width at being 60. The thought process here is that we're trying to keep it wide to stop people from switching the ball. However, whether you run one defensive width or 100, I'll be honest, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. EA, I don't think have developed width right in this game the way they do it. It's essentially from the edge of the 18-yard box to the touchline, and the difference between running 100 and 1 is so minimal, you really don't see that much of an impact on it. 80 depth, why is this? We are really trying to box the opponent in. My idea here is that if we lose the ball, I want to be quick on that press. I want to be aggressive. I want to try and win the ball back. However, for yourselves, if you are going, yeah, I can't track over the top through balls, I'm not very good with my right stick switching, then obviously just go with the depth that you're comfortable with. That's where you have a bit of freedom in this setup to do what you want. We go balanced defensive style. Why? Because it's the best when you start the game with that. If obviously you're losing and you want to change to press on possession loss, you're more than welcome to, but balance I just think is the best for everything. Now, for our build-up play and chance creation. Build-up play, again, is balanced. Why? Because it gives you the best of everything. Now, yes, we are looking to play football, which means a lot of the ball on the ground. However, sometimes you are going to want to hit on the counter. Sometimes you are going to want to be a little bit quicker in the transition. And I think build-up play at balance gives you the best for everything. However, we do go with chance creation on possession. This essentially means what we're relying on here is that AI will be looking. So say if I've got the ball and you're looking at your Neymar or whoever it may be, they're going to be looking at you. They're not going to be looking, the other way to run in behind. They're going to be looking at the ball holder and going past my feet, receiving it with their back to goal, which is great. But then the way around that is if you go, I don't want you in this position at this time, you trigger runners. We talk about it all the time. Tapping L1, tapping LB in the direction of the player that you want to run. You can send up to 5 runners at a time, meaning then that, oh, he's facing me. No, let's trigger him on a run, get him in behind. We could combine that with a creative run or a player lock or whatever it may be. If you aren't very comfortable with doing that, that's not a problem. You can still get this tactic to work. But my advice there would be move the ball with tempo, with a bit of pace, get it going, get it flowing, and you'll be very happy with that. Now, for our width, we keep this wide because of the hug sideline anyway. We are looking to have the switch ball there on. Why do I want the switch ball? Essentially, what the switch ball is going to allow us to do is that if we're being pressed and we can't find a way out, we've got the ball with the right back, we switch it over to our left back or our left wing, and then it draws the opponent's team in. Your team will be there, and then you look to quickly move the ball. It's all about that transition of when you switch it over, how quickly can you then look to penetrate into that 18-yard box. Now, for our players in box, this is the highest players in box that I've ever ran on FC24. This is a throwback to FIFA 20 when I used to run the 4-3-3 false 9. 9 players in box, because essentially we are looking that when we get in the 18-yard box, I've got the goal in front of me. I want to look to pass the ball off to one extra player who's got an easier shot, an easier angle, no defender in the way. And compacting the box, so overloading the box essentially, allows us to do that really well. 1 corners and 1 free kicks. Personal preference here, but that's what I like to go with. I don't like to get caught on the counter. And then I like 1 corners because of the corner routine that I use. Now for our left wing, what are we going to do? We are going to have our chance creation on stay wide to go obviously with what we've got here on our hug sideline and the high width. And that's the same on the right winger as well. For our centre forward, we are going to go stay central, false 9 and stay forward. The false 9 instruction I think is a little bit misleading in a way. I don't think it plays the way that I would like it to operate for myself personally. But what this is going to mean again is that your centre forward is basically going to be the link-up play for the right wing and left wing and for the right centre mid and left centre mid. They're going to be facing your players. So you give it into them, they hold it off, you have the runners off them, they slip it off, and then they will be on the turn to kind of get into that 18-yard box as obviously the attack builds up. Now for our right centre mid, there's 2 key things you're going to need with your centre mids. Well, 1 for each, I should say, and that's high work rates, because the way that we use them is very, very nice. So get forward, get into the box for cross, free roam and cover centre for your right centre mid. You can flip this as we get into the fullback instructions if you need to. What's the thought process here? What do I want? I want the high work rates so that it goes hand in hand with the get forward instruction when we have the ball. Get into the box across because we are overloading that box because we want that extra pass off across, and free roam to essentially allow them to operate into that right wing channel if we need to, or the striker or the left wing, like just essentially do their own thing and be there. But defensive wise, I want obviously that right centre mid on cover centre to really make it difficult to get onto the edge of the 18-yard box. It is the exact same for your left centre mid. However, you are going to have this one on cover wing because we have the left back unbalanced. So then if the left back gets caught, the left centre mid will essentially move out to the wing. You can copy this onto the right hand side, just flip everything if you need to. So we have balanced attack. I go inverted on the run type because we've got so much width on the left winger anyway. I want my left back just tucking in ever so slightly. So Roberto Carlos that I use in that. And then this is what I've been using a lot more recently to try and combat the hug sideline. It works to an extent and it doesn't work. What this is going to do is basically, if an opponent has a free pass, has a player that's available to pass to, the left back is basically going to get touch tight. Just imagine of them wanting to really be there to tug on their shirt. So that's what we go there. For our right back, it's stay back while attacking. Inverted if they do go forward. So if you manually put them on that run, they'll be on the inverted run. Again, inverted, I think, is an instruction that isn't really that massive. I don't think there's a massive difference between inverted and balanced or even overlap to say that. So that's what we go on the right back. And then for our centre defensive mid, I've actually tried this. Now, this works really well if an opponent has a centre attacking mid, a left forward, a right forward. Not so much the striker because the centre backs are on them, but basically they will tight mark and they will be there man marking that player. Stay back while attacking, cover centre obviously for our centre defensive mid, and those are the instructions there. Now for our goalkeeper, if you have a keeper that is capable of this, I'd really advise this right now on FC24. Comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. It will help you massively with over the top through balls, crosses. You want to look at your play styles on your goalkeeper. I use Schmeichel a lot, and Schmeichel has the ability for him, he's confident coming out with the crosses. Take a look at your speed of your goalkeepers. You'll get an idea of obviously how this sort of setup works with those goalkeepers when you have it. So as we show you some highlights of how this 4-3-3 is going to play in that attack, the midfield and the build-up, I really can't emphasize enough how much your right centre mid and left centre mid are going to get involved. The high work rates needs them to be good in the attack. So Xabi Alonso is a player that I used here. Really good inside the 18-yard box at getting a good power shot off. Just good finish, reliable in front of net, but can defend and do a little bit as well. Also obviously has the long ball pass as a Brucey little bonus. The centre defensive mid, I use too many. Medium high work rates, perfect in that 3-player midfield setup, purely because the right centre mid and left centre mid are going up so much. I don't want a high CDM. Although they're on stay back while attacking, which overrides it ever so slightly, the medium high just makes it ever so nicely. For my left wing and right wing in this setup, we were very happy to have players that are quick, like Alawarian and Neymar is who we were using, who are comfortable at beating their players, be it with skill moves. They can cross, they can shoot, they can do a little bit of everything. Because they play off the striker, they do need to be able to finish, all right? You don't want a left winger getting in on goal who's just got really bad finishing stats, composure, no finishing play styles, for example. That will really make things a little bit more difficult for you. The striker, I use Berbatov because Berbatov, I think that card is an absolute joke for the price that you can get him for. And I think he can provide that little bit of everything, that little bit of hold up, that skill moves, a little bit of pace. The passing stats are good. The shooting's good. Just everything. Your striker, or the centre forward in this role, is probably one of the most important because their job is so diverse. They need to be strong. They need to pass. They need to shoot. They need to have pace. They need to be able to compete in the air a little bit at times if you're being pressed and want to go through the middle. So that is something that I think is kind of very crucial for you to think about when you are running this setup as well. Let me know how you find it down below in the comments. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them as well for you. If you have missed one of our recent videos, you can catch up with our educational Division 10 to Elite Division series right there. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.